The next question, the member for London West.
Thank you very much, Speaker. My question is to the Premier. Speaker, this government's failure to address the financial challenges facing the post-secondary sector is putting futures at risk. Right now, there are 30,000 more domestic students at Ontario universities than this government provides funding for, a number that is expected to grow to 100,000 by 2030. But without the international student tuition dollars that have subsidized domestic tuition students for years, these 100,000 students won't be able to get a spot. Will the Premier commit today to a funding formula that ensures that every qualified domestic student who wants to attend post-secondary education in Ontario is able to, now and in the future?
The Minister of Colleges and Universities.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, funding for our post-secondary education system is higher than it's ever been. On an annual basis, we do $5 billion worth of funding for our publicly assisted colleges and universities. Speaker, on top of that, this spring we gave $1.3 billion of funding to our post-secondary education system. Speaker, that is a historic investment, almost the largest investment in over 15 years, Speaker. Speaker, we understand that there is more that needs to be done. That's why we've invested $15 million into the Efficiency and Accountability Fund, so our public colleges and universities can go through third-party reviews to understand if there's efficiencies to be had, Speaker. The response to this fund has been extremely overwhelming, including schools that are in good financial setting. They are asking to be part of the program, Speaker, because they understand what the opposition doesn't understand is that there are efficiencies to be had, and it's not always throwing taxpayer money at the system.
Supplementary question.
Thank you very much, Speaker. This government's historic investment in post-secondary education leaves Ontario the lowest of any province in Canada in terms of per-student funding. Ontario students, communities and employers, Speaker, deserve a stable and sustainable post-secondary system. Under this government, however, at least half of Ontario universities and a growing number of colleges are reporting deficits. There's a $30 million deficit at University of Windsor, $50 million deficit at Mohawk College, $75 million deficit at University of Waterloo, at least a $26 million deficit at Carleton. Programs are being cut at Queen's, at Guelph, at Fleming College, many more to come. Students, post-secondary faculty and sector experts have warned for years about the consequences of chronic underfunding. Why is this government ignoring them?
The Minister of Colleges and Universities.
Thank you, Speaker. Part of that $1.3 billion that we invested into the sector this year includes $903 million, with $700 million across the board funding increases. That adds up to 7% over the next 3 years. On top of that, Speaker, we had $203 million for top-ups for institutions of greater need, Speaker. We will remain committed through the SMA4 process to ensure that we have a very robust system that works for all students across Ontario, Speaker. But I will remind the students that are here today that when the NDP were in power, that tuition rose 3 times the rate of inflation, Speaker. And a little closer, when the Liberals were in power, it rose 3 times the rate of inflation, Speaker. We have inflation over the last few years around 20%, Speaker. If they were in power, our tuition would have went up 60%, Speaker. We are the party that cares about affordability, Speaker. And we'll continue ensuring that our students have a world-class education system.